Yay Networks.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I'm Jenna.
I'm Francisco.
Franny. I realize I haven't been calling you Franny much lately. I don't know what I call you. I call you Papa because I'm always kind of speaking with Remy in the room.
Yeah.
Papa.
Between Papa and you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I alternate. It's healthy.
Yeah.
But I know with the way Remy's talking, it's gonna, we got to start being careful, I'm sure. I actually said to him the other day, every time he hits me, that's what we're dealing with right now. Hitting. We don't hit. You hit him back. Yeah. It's not like that's kind of frowned upon. And you also don't want to hit them back because they don't know what they're doing. And then they think hitting's fine. So he's been just beating the shit out of me, honestly. And I'm like, you're mean. You're mean. And so now he knows the word mean and he kind of knows how to use it. For instance, he teases Wheezy with the graham cracker and says, no, even though he wants to be chased. And then he says, mean. So he kind of gets the meaning of mean. So now when I tell him no, he says mean. Well, I get it. He thinks I'm mean when I tell him no. Yeah, mean. So yeah, he gets it. But how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
I have turned into the basic
I know.
white girl that
You were the only white girl missing.
From the
Stanley
Cup crew. Yeah. I, for years,
Did you got the extra large?
No, this is just the 40 ouncer. The extra is like a 60 or something. Yeah, 64.
You got the Texas white girl, not the Cali white girl.
So I just never understood the Stanley thing, and then you see everyone everywhere carrying these cups. They're fucking expensive. They just seem ridiculous, but I have been really struggling with my water intake. I find when I don't exercise as much, I don't drink as much water, and then I feel like shit. So,
So
it's
you
a
didn't receive the full memo.
What? What do you mean?
90% of the white girls that have them actually have vodka or some other alcoholic beverage throughout the day.
No, I don't think so. I really think all my young girls that are my interns that we're losing this summer here, they have it. Danny and I have laughed for a long time, we're not going to get one. We're not going to get one. And then I've always thought it was so silly. I've never understood, not because I don't understand why people want them, but more because I know myself and I just kind of suck with cups like this. You leave them in your car, you lose the straw, you got to clean it out all the time. It's just a thing. But I've been really good with a couple of the other ones I have, my Fitish water bottle, and it's so damn hot. And I thought there must be something to this Stanley Cup thing. So I ordered one on Amazon. I ordered the cheapest one I could find because they're all, what in the world would you spend $80 on one of these things for? That is insane because you want sparkles. They come with accessories, their own purses. Do you know this? You can get little Stanley Cups that hang off of your Stanley Cup. It's silly. It's a wild world out there, Fran.
Yeah.
So I got this one on Amazon, and this was kind of the only. And then Danny shows up today with one too because I showed her I got one. She found hers at her Target. I didn't even. Our Target doesn't have any.
All the comments that I may have, I will sound like my dad when I was a teenage boy and wanted to buy Giorgio Armani jeans. Those are jeans. Jeans are used by workers. I don't know how you're gonna pay $300 for jeans. It's that's exactly the same thing.
Oh, and don't even make a jean analogy with me because I get it. I mean, I like cheap jeans. I like fancy, expensive jeans.
But
I love jeans.
What I'm trying to say is I sound like my dad. You could have had one with the exact same functionality.
Okay, well, I actually got this
Jetty is
one
as expensive. I'm just talking about a random brand that looks alike.
Yeah, but does it keep your beverage cool for 2 days? 2 days? Does it keep your beverage cool for 2 days?
If you need something to keep your beverage cool for 2 days, you're doing it wrong. You actually need something that doesn't keep your beverage cool for more than 20 minutes, so you drink fast.
No, it keeps hot drinks hot for 11 hours, which I call bullshit on that because yesterday I had this filled with ice and it says it holds ice for 2 days, which I don't think that's true because my ice melted. As my ice has already melted today.
Did you put hot tea on the ice?
No. Anyway, you know what? Don't get yourself an overpriced Stanley then. I found the cheapest one I could. It was $40-something on Amazon. It took 3 days to come. And the ones that I liked even more than this one in other colorways, that's the crazy thing. Some women have pantries of Stanleys to match their outfits. It's insane, this culture. Stanley, man, I can't even imagine how much money that company makes. Like, I bet hundreds of millions of dollars. They're killing it. Yeah. All for a damn cup. But that's the thing, Fran. You don't want like some Gamma Miko brand. You want the Stanley.
Yeah, because what the other white girls are gonna think if you have like a fucking like weird Chinese brand that does exactly the same thing.
There are a lot of them though that come in different patterns that match your outfits, and the women that make those are just like crushing it in life, because they're cheaper than this. Anyway, this is my review. Really like it. I'm only 24 hours in so far, but I actually really do like it. I drank almost 2 full ones yesterday. I peed a lot in the middle of the night. I think my hydration level, that's what I'm trying to achieve here, having water next to me. I really just talking about kind of the whole aesthetic of it. The handle is key. I think the problem with water bottles when they don't have a handle, it fits in your cup holder. I've really been into these straws too lately. I like a straw, right? Because if it just has a mouth opening, I don't like to drink things that way. I think a lot of women, we like straws. We have lipstick on or we just like straws. And so I like it. I've been liking my coffee cup that I have with the glass straw. So I like this. So that's my initial
Stanley,
review.
if you're looking to sponsor the Fitish podcast, we already have the ad. So...
we have the ad and the product. No, this was not an ad, actually. I think people are probably on the fence. I bet a lot of our female listeners are on the fence about the Stanley Cup, and maybe I could nudge them to get one.
Yeah.
I like it. I say that, and then next week I'm going to be like, y'all, I haven't seen my Stanley Cup since last week. I don't know where it is. I can't find the lid.
No. We all know that it's going to be in the pantry.
Yeah, I've been good
One part of it.
I've been good about stuff.
Either the lid is going to be in the pantry or the cup is going to be in the pantry.
I've been making an effort to like put things at least in the room that they belong in. And I think that's the hard part is like...
that's a good start.
Is like put it in the room it belongs in. I will say though, before you leave the Fitish office today, if you have some time, it would be nice if you wanted to stop in the kitchen and pick up some of the dozen coffee mugs that I have transported from our house to here and not taken back home. And that's why we're low on coffee cups.
So I have a rule. If I don't miss it, we don't need it,
That's a good rule, actually. You are more of a minimalist, but you still tend to make a mess. But you don't have that much stuff, which is nice.
Yeah. It's called manageable mess.
Yeah, but then you make a mess of my stuff that I've bought in the house.
That's an unmanageable mess.
That's an unmanageable mess because it's too many things. Yeah,
it's just... well, the good thing is that you take them to your office, so it's out of mind, out of sight, or out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind is the expression. Yeah.
No, you can keep bringing cups. I don't think we need that many.
I got a message that I was asked not to read, so I'm not going to read it. But a woman, and so if you do listen to this, I'm not going to say really any details about what you sent. But
no worries, Claudia. We're not going to say your name.
No, she emailed and said it was a long, nice email, but the gist of it is this. She didn't want me to read it on the show, so I'm not going to do that. But the gist was basically like kind of along the lines of like, I love the show. I've been a fan of y'all for a long time, but in the last couple of years, she's learned she's not going to be able to have children, and it's really difficult for her. So then, of course, listening to shows where we kind of frequently talk about Remy. She's like, I don't know, are y'all ever going to talk about anything else, And so it's difficult, because I understand where she's coming from. I think, what I want to say to that is like, well, not to be defensive, but we do talk about other things, Stanley Cups and, business and dating and, things like that. We do. But unfortunately, like, I think that we can only, with Fran and I talking so much about our relationship on this show.
How's your dating life?
Remy is such a big part of our life that it would be like inauthentic to really to avoid talking about him, So I think, I can't sit here and promise that, it will always be about Remy or never be about Remy. But unfortunately, I think in that scenario, I would probably just say, yeah, like if you're struggling and it's such a trigger, Like you probably shouldn't listen and I hate to say it that way. Like I don't want to lose a listener. I think that we make effort to have other content and we hope to like have guests here and there as well. But I think parenting has become such a part of our identity as you as parents know that you do want to share stories and talk about it and fails. And I just can't really think of a time where it's not going to be something other than when I did my business episode or, when we talk about things really exclusively work related.
Well, I think that it's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing.
It's not the whole thing, but if it's a trigger, I would say, then just give it. I hate to tell someone not to listen, but I totally understand that trigger because I feel like when I went through IVF and, when you're trying to get pregnant or when you get bad news, you feel like you see pregnant people everywhere. It's just like if you have like a breakup, you see couples everywhere and you're just really triggered by things like that. So it completely makes sense. And I'm sorry because that's really tough. And I hope that maybe your parenting journey doesn't end with being told you can't naturally conceive children. Maybe you want to adopt and maybe you want to take a different approach to that. There's a lot of options there. I mean, it was a multi-year struggle for Francisco and I, so I do have a lot of empathy when it comes to that. So I'm sorry that we talk about Remy.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, the amount of stress that we felt since we had Remy is uncanny. So
I don't know. That's just something, I don't know why people don't talk about that more. I need to be medicated. I need to be on medicine. The amount of anxiety, I used to brag about how I was not an anxious person. And, I went to the doctor recently to get a blood panel done, a functional wellness doctor actually, to kind of see what's going on because my energy level's been super low. And which this is an interesting kind of thing to fill you in on. A lot of people have been curious because they knew. I think a lot of women that are postpartum. So I'm happy to kind of share all the results and the plan with you on that. Primarily my testosterone is like non-existent. And so, and that sucks, because that makes testosterone's amazing. Guys have it so lucky in a way because it helps you with like lean muscle mass and your energy level and your metabolism and your sex drive and obviously all sorts of things that just seem positive with having more testosterone. And so I think this happens a lot, especially as you hit 40 and they say it only gets worse, like, when you're 50 or going through menopause. But so that sucks. But my cortisol levels are super high and that's the stress, that's a stress hormone or a stress side effect of stress is that your cortisol, so it would lead to like belly fat, lead to being super lethargic. And I think it's the stress of being a fucking parent. Like I've never used to feel the stress. So I take the stress real physically, but just kind of that anxiety, right? All the time. And it spikes all the time. Just a couple days ago, I get home and Fran had been there to relieve our nanny. And I guess he calls me on the phone right as I'm pulling up and he's like, hey, just so you know, Remy fell. And we just found out and, or she just told me he fell earlier today and hit his head and he has like a really bad bump. And y'all, it was like bad, like not stitches, but like considering going to the hospital. And then then Fran and we have this dilemma of like, when someone else is watching your child and something like that happens, you want to know exactly what happened. Why didn't they call? Why did she put him down for a nap?
Tortured them to get information out or not. Is that frowned upon?
What?
Torturing the nanny just to get the right info.
No, but I think it's so hard when, first of all, like there was just a lot of things that happened in that moment that we weren't okay with, like just some decisions that were made, like that we weren't notified when this happened, that we didn't know. But, in her eyes, it wasn't that bad. But like in our eyes, like when we saw him, like it was really bad. And he has like his whole forehead's bruised and it was super swollen. And so Fran and I kind of laid in bed that night and we love our nanny. She's been wonderful. Like shit, it was just an accident. It wasn't her fault. I think it was just kind of the judgment call on like calling us and whatnot, and but like I couldn't sleep that night after, even though we knew he was okay. But like this anxiety that we carry now as parents, even right now, just us sitting here working during the day, talking when you're at work and you think about your kid, is he okay? I'm sure for those of you that have a kid at daycare, I mean, I'm sure these thoughts go through your head all day long. And it's just this, I don't want to say burden. It's more like a weight that we carry now as parents. It's just
I think it's just that thing that everybody that has kids have told you, now you understand. Like the amount that you're going to worry for the rest of your life, it's just going to grow exponentially. And
but they always always are like, oh, but you love. I think my worry is even stronger than my love on some days. Does that make sense? Does that sound terrible to admit? Like my anxiety is almost like it
Yeah, no,
feels
for
even like a
sure.
stronger emotion than the love.
No, I get it. I think it's just I don't think we have ever loved in the level that we love that kid. And he is the irreplaceable thing.
Right. And that's what's so scary, right? I think everything leading up until having children, even with a partner, I'll find another. You know, that's kind of the mentality. Like, I'll find another Fran. Like, if this didn't work out, like, you know, but obviously you feel love and you feel pain. But as an adult, you're like, I can figure it out. But yeah, with something so, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to sound as harsh as it did.
No, baby, get it.
But you know, I just don't think we felt quite that level. Like you feel that level with a partner, but
we're both like grown adults, and we met in our senile age already. So
I used to feel that way when you would just like go motorcycling around all the time because, or, you know, traveling and motorcycling and all of these kind of dangerous things.
the other day I went to the garage. I don't know if that room that is next to the Masters that's weird. There's motorcycles there that I haven't used like in a year.
I know. Why are you smiling about it?
Because I think I'm going to use them at some point, you know?
Do you?
Yeah, at some point.
Well, someone wrote me and asked, why do you all not park in your garage? I was like, well, there are other vehicles in that garage.
Well, tell that someone, mind your own business. Add a fucking in the middle of that phrase.
I think some people are like, well, do you not have a garage? I was like, well, we do, but there's motorcycles in there.
Well, there's some workout equipment also.
Why don't you park the motorcycles on the street?
Because they're fragile, babe. Because they don't have a cocoon like your car has to keep them warm.
Can't you buy at a little house?
Oh,
A little cover?
it'll be more expensive, you know, with the requirements. HVAC.
Why don't you sell them?
Humidity
That's
control.
what I can't really understand. Like, we could use the money. Why don't you sell them?
I'm gonna consider it. You know, I'm gonna make an assessment about that.
Fran and I have been so stressed. Like, is everyone else's like electricity and water bill a lot more than normal? Like, we're like, are we doing something wrong? Do we have a leak? We've been freaking out the last month because our bill is like shocking. And I know that when you buy a house, these are the complaints, right? You probably double, if not triple, kind of your expenses. And we didn't even buy that big of a house. But, you know, after kind of living in the same level for a long time and just splitting everything. And, you know, now we're in a place that we're like, wait, shit, this gets expensive. A baby and a house. I think we added too many like new life stressors at the same time. But
Too many.
so friends, like we were going to go to a neighbor's birthday, or they were having like a pool party. They live a couple houses down and we don't really know anyone that well, but I'm like game, y'all. I am game to meet mom friends. I'm game to meet the neighbors. Fran I don't know what happened to this social butterfly sitting next to me, this party animal, but now I take him places. He is like this weird introvert wearing glasses in the corner. Like you wouldn't even recognize him anymore. When that used to be me. That was me. I'm the introvert that's getting socially drained.
Hey,
and now I'm like, let's go.
I'm not wearing glasses in the corner. I'm chasing my kid around.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Fran, you're amazing with Remy. I know that's what you're doing, but
That's all I want to do.
You're not connecting. Yeah. I'm a little concerned about our dinner that we agreed to go to tonight, that you're going to sit there. It's so funny. Okay, hold on. Before I get into that, but so we're at the neighbor's house and we're walking over and I said, Fran, you should ask the neighbors. They have this huge pool and huge backyard, like way more yard than us. Way more house and yard than us. I was like, you should ask them what their water bill is. He's like, that's so gauche. Like, you don't do that. I was like, yes, you do. This is what dude neighbors do with dude neighbors, right? Like, you talk about the water bill. Like, you talk about the house stuff, right? Like, isn't that what you do with the neighbors?
Yeah. What type of lawnmower did you buy? I want to buy something like that.
Yeah. And you did. You were uncomfortable, but I like initiated the conversation in the pool between the two dude neighbors, you and the other one. It was
Zero
great.
uncomfortable.
He was happy to talk about it.
Yeah, and then I realized that we have a huge issue because we're
We have a
paying
huge
double.
issue because our water bill is way more than our water bill, so something is definitely wrong.
Electricity bill. It's just like I receive a torture email once a week.
A what?
A torture email. An email that tortures me. An email that inflicts pain into my soul. That says, Jexa Energy, weekly consumption report.
But we're not doing anything differently than. Don't shush me. That is so gross.
So it says every week in the past 6 weeks, it says you have consumed certain amount percentage more than last week.
How?
I have no
We're
fucking
not doing
idea.
anything different. We
The
got to get a
AC.
meter reader out. This is boring conversation though. So
$900. Like,
that's not okay.
that's
Did you
a car
pay,
payment.
Did you pay the last month?
100%.
So it's not the month rolling over?
Oh, no, this is not AT&T rollover minute situation, baby.
More than a car payment, babe.
Well, I don't know what car you have, but
That's what you get for having a really expensive car. That's insane. We need to figure it out or we're going to be homeless. Yeah, let's figure that out. But no, going back to Fran's like antisocialness, I am such a homebody. Like the pandemic, aside from all the horrible things that happened to people during the pandemic, like I was thriving, like having to be home. Like this was a dream come true. And I get a little bit of cabin fever like during 2020, sure. But in general, like more than happy to be home. And it's just so funny now because I'm even more that way now. But I tell Fran, we got invited to go to someone's house tonight, like a small dinner party, probably I would say like 8 people, 10 people. I know that it's going to be small. And I like the couple that invited us. And I knew when we agreed to go that then the day's going to come around, right? And we're going to be like, fuck. 7:30 is like when we're laying in bed to turn on the TV, But we talked about this. We knew we weren't going to feel like going, just not because we don't like them, just because we don't ever want to do anything. And we just want to hang out with Remy and then go to bed. But we have to do stuff sometimes. We haven't even done anything like this in like months go by. Months. I think it's been a month since we did our pottery date. We did a movie date. But like we have to, right? I mean, at least you never know. You could make good work connections, meet a friend.
No, I'm excited.
It's hard because like, what's the answer, And because I know that you and I don't know, before you have a baby, you're like, yeah, we'll like get a babysitter all the time and like still live our life. Not only do we not want to do that, like we don't want to live our life. Like our life is at home. Like we don't want to. And I know some couples are different. I think that's also the divide that you start to have, right? Like when you make mom friends, but then you see how people parent differently than you. Like they're maybe not as hands-on or they still have like this huge social life and they travel and leave babies at home. And it's just so not who Fran and I are. And I'm glad we're similar. Like I'm glad we're the same type. So then it makes it hard to connect with people that are that way because you're like, wait, that y'all just like go out to dinner every single night, every weekend. Like, but we want to be at home.
I think the most amazing story I've heard so far is from our friends.
Cannot tell that story. Fran,
I think it's an amazing story.
you cannot tell that story and name them.
Well, okay, so their names are Steven and
No.
Claudia.
No,
And
can't do that. They're going to think it's our other friends.
and
Okay, you tell the story, and they were your friends first, so I apologize to them because I would never share this story.
then I'm not gonna. I'm just teasing. I'm going to share the story. So they went to the movies with the monitor on.
They went
Which
to the movie
is
theater down the street from their house.
Amazing.
So, no. It's not amazing. And this is an amazing couple friends of ours. We love them. This story shocked me because they do not seem like the type of people to do this. They were like, yeah, like with the first one, they have 2 kids now. They were like, and they're, you've known them for a really long time. They're super cool, super chill. She's like super stay-at-home mom too. So like this story just
She
surprises
works
me,
and
but
she's like full on stay.
Danny
like,
was over too when this happened. We had some people over with their kids and like she was like, yeah, I mean, one time we went, there was a movie theater like right on the corner from where our house was. And we like took the monitor and like went to the movies.
brilliant.
And I looked at her and I went, you should never tell anyone this story. Like I was just very direct with her. Like, don't tell anyone this story because like, fuck off, Fran Brilliant. There is no way you would do that.
So there is a way if the movie theater is literally next, like if I'm the neighbor of the movie theater,
She said they were like a 5-minute drive.
that's 5 minutes too long.
I mean,
Maybe if we were to have a second, I can see how I'm gonna chill.
I about died. And I love them. But like Danny and I even talked about it after. We were like, no way they did that. Like because you know what I mean? When you know people really well and you're like, you would just never, like, she's such a great mom. You would never think they would do that.
But the things that
we didn't even do that on
they
vacation.
have.
When we were next to the restaurant.
We didn't do it in vacation. Don't blame it on being worried about Remy. We didn't have energy to do anything after he was down.
I don't know. How do you even sit there and watch a movie? Yeah, it's crazy. But it was so funny that she even shared that story. I think
it's impressive because they're the type of people that they're so chill, so relaxed in their day to day, but they're also very responsible. I don't think...
Right. That's what is confusing. We went to the neighbor's house one night, literally next door. And after we put Remy down and had him on our phone, but we were like in the alley. Do you know what I mean? Like it was literally like right there. So I get that. I know people do that from time to time, but.
And yes, it's just, I think it's amazing that they feel comfortable about that. I feel that I would love to feel comfortable about that.
I feel envious of people that don't have the level of anxiety that we have.
100%. Because they will excel as we will.
Yeah.
Just with less
She
stress.
doesn't have high cortisol levels and is like losing sleep. I was waking up in the middle of the night the other night checking on him. I know we all go through this. It's just this like, it's something that you've never really felt before. It's really hard to handle. I've never felt that way. And I'm such an empathetic person. So, but like, I just mean like I'm a sensitive feeling person and in general, but it's just brought it to like a level that it's, I can't handle it is what I'm trying to say. Like I'm having a really hard time handling the stress of parenting and how much you worry about
especially because he's also very cute. If he weren't that cute, maybe it would be a different story, but he's also
his cuteness is going way down. I mean, he has a scar. He's like beat to shit. Like if we had taken him to the hospital the other night, that would have been the third ER visit. And Danny told me her mom was like this with her brother. They're going to start like making a record of this, right? Like what's happening, and I'm sure this happens with a lot of kids that they have a lot of ER visits, just because they are wild and they fall and.
Oh, here comes the mom that pushed him off the bench.
Me?
Yeah, they're going to say that when they walk into the ER. Oh, yeah. Here comes the mom that.
And then you feel bad, right? Because I'm the mom that's like, I don't want to go to the ER. I don't want to go. I can't even tell you how many fucking collections agencies I have calling when I swear I paid the medical bill. Like, you get so many bills when you have a baby. I don't know if this happens to y'all that you're like, wait, I thought I already paid it. And then there's like 7 different bills that come. And so now I'm getting a call from Medical City about, I don't even know what. Like some $100 that I didn't pay apparently from, I don't even remember getting it, that they're like collections. It's calling from the hospital. I'm like,
do you think he ordered like a lobster when he was in the ER last time?
It's like from the anesthesia for the stitches. It's like a separate bill. Does that make sense? Like, it's just crazy,
It's just amazing how they get to bill. Like, it's just like, did you bill
Can you
this
just put
for
it
that
all
gauze?
on one, please? Yeah. Can you just put it all on one
let's
bill?
just send her another bill for that gauze.
When he fell that one time, the ER asks you, and I love it, they ask you if you've ever been to the ER, 3 different people will ask you the same question, what happened? Like very casually, So first it's like they have a paramedic that was there. They had like the woman doing the check-in, and then there was like another guy. So I don't know if they're nurses or what their titles are. But 3 different people asked me basically the same question because they want to see what your story is and if it changed, And I mean, I appreciate that because how awful, kids coming in hurt all the time.
So you rehearsed.
No, but then you have the guilt when you don't take them, right? Because I don't want to be that person. It's not just a money thing. It's just like, it's the grind of sitting in an ER if you don't think that they need to be there, because then you go and you spend 6 hours minimum and you're all exhausted and it's just a shit show. And then you go home and you're like obviously there's times that it needs to happen, but yeah, I felt a little bad the other night. So yeah, I didn't sleep because I made a decision that day to not take him to the hospital. Granted, he had already taken a nap, which is not okay after hitting his head, but he was fine and he was acting fine. So I made a decision, of course, Fran, I had to kind of keep it internal because Fran is freaked. If I had said to Fran, oh my God, he has to go to the hospital, you would have been there in a heartbeat, And I was like, no, I don't think we need to do it.
No, I saw him.
And I still don't, but I'm worried.
I saw him and he was acting normal. And he also had like a little bit of the sniffles. So
Get a cold, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. So how do you all manage? I'd love to hear from you. How do you manage the stress of
Yes.
parenting? Because
what type of drugs do you guys
it's
use?
yeah, or therapy of some kind. But let's take a quick break and hear from some of the sponsors of the Fitish podcast. The Fitish podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and y'all, everyone needs therapy. I'm just going to come out and say it. And you need therapy at different times in your life. I think you can have a few years here and there that you're like, wow, things are going pretty good. But then you know, in my case, right? You have a baby, you get engaged, you go through a pandemic, you leave your career, you have a business, you buy a house, and then I kind of think, oh my gosh, what's happening? My identity shifted, and obviously Fran and I don't make a secret of some of the struggles we have as new parents and just kind of all of the things that have changed. I mean, life changes, and sometimes your relationship needs some extra TLC. That's really something Fran and I talk a lot about, is like, we're just different people now, and we don't have the same bandwidth for one another as we used to, and we're both kind of suffering. And BetterHelp offers so many different kinds of therapy customized to, of course, whatever you have going on in your life, whether it is like Fran and I and it's relationship help, or maybe you're just personally struggling with some sort of crossroads you're going through with career or with your life in general. And therapy has just been such a great benefit to, you know, my life individually, my relationship, and BetterHelp makes it so easy. Why? Well, for me, it's the convenience. I hate having to like Google, ask friends, find a therapist, go in person somewhere. Let's not even talk about the cost of that. And, you know, it almost feels like your whole day is devoted to a therapy session. Whereas with BetterHelp, you get matched with someone. You can be at your office in the middle of a work day, say, oh, hold on, you know, I need an hour. And it's just that. It's just an hour. You know, you open up your computer, you don't even have to turn the camera on. You can really get into it and then get back to your life. And BetterHelp's also more affordable than a lot of this other in-person therapy because, as you know, a lot of therapists don't take our normal insurance. So BetterHelp makes getting better convenient and more affordable. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Fitish today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Fitish. I've been on a wellness goal kick for myself lately. Honestly, you know, I've always been a big fan of ritual supplements, and I've been really kind of exploring everything that's out there that I can take to make myself feel better. And Ritual not long ago introduced Symbiotic Plus. I had never been a prebiotic or probiotic taker in my life. I never really thought much about my gut health. And then when Ritual introduced this and I was able to add it to my multivitamin that I'm already taking, well, actually, I still like to take a prenatal vitamin, but that's just between you and I. And Rituals are absolutely the best. But Symbiotic Plus is this 3-in-1 prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic designed to help support a balanced gut microbiome. I think sometimes you don't realize how bad you are feeling until you start feeling really good, and you just think that certain things are normal, and then you realize, wow, maybe my stomach shouldn't be feeling like that, or, you know, this isn't normal, and wow, I feel so much better. I really think that's what Ritual supplements have done for me. And so what in the world is a postbiotic? Well, this provides fuel to the cells that make up the gut lining and supports a healthy gut barrier. I think for me personally, with stress and not a great diet, that my stomach's just a mess, especially as I've gotten older. And I have noticed such a difference since adding Symbiotic Plus to my Ritual subscription. Symbiotic Plus and Ritual are here to celebrate, not hide your insides. It's time to listen to your gut. Ritual is offering our Fitish listeners 30% off during your first month. Visit ritual.com/Fitish to start Ritual or add Symbiotic Plus to your subscription today. So, Fran, I made a new mom friend, because I make effort in my life. Little Jim, by the way, not a sponsor of the Fitish podcast. I wish it was. Little Jim has been such a great purchase for us. If you have a Little Gym, it doesn't have to be that same brand, but you know, any kind of gymnasium, Remy's really taken to that class. So we go on Saturday mornings, and you know, they're grouped by age, and it's just been a really, really nice thing. I just would highly recommend it. It's organized nicely. They get to run around, interact with other kids. It's such a cool thing. So I couldn't like say enough great things about our experience getting to go there. But I made a mom friend there. She has twins. She's a few years older than me. And I love when a mom just kind of like takes some initiative and she's like, hey, do you want to get together sometime? I'm like, sure. Because here I am bitching about not having mom friends, yet look at me like not making any effort either. I think because like none of us really have the time. But this is what you get when a mom used to have a career and then she has now decided to be a stay-at-home mom for a bit. And because she has the twins and she has a nanny too, but she's like with two of them, like it's just been overwhelming. But she kind of has that like career mentality. She's like, I made a playroom in this enclosed patio in my house. It was so nice, by the way. So she's like, I wanted to get some moms together that have kids like exactly this age, which that's the other thing, right? Like you want to make mom friends that have kids that are within a couple months of your child because they're developmentally, more similar. So yeah, she has a boy and a girl, and invited me over. So I went over on Monday. Well, I was the only mom to go. She said she had invited 3 other moms, I guess, but like one's about to give birth again. One was out of town. I don't know. So I made a joke to Fran. I was like, this is where I'm going in case I'm get murdered by my new mom friend. No, I'm kidding. She was super nice. And it's just so nice, right? Like sometimes all you want is just to like go to someone else's house that has a nice setup and just watch your kid play and talk and sit there. And I mean, I would have liked to have alcohol. That didn't seem to be like on the agenda.
Well, the things that you bring it.
In my Stanley cup.
Like every other white girl.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't have the Stanley yet at this juncture. Okay?
Or also an option, you just bring a bottle of wine.
But then, you're meeting a new mom for the first time, which is funny because I'm not a drinker, but on a Monday at like 4:00, sounds nice, like it sounds nice. The kids are playing. It sounds nice. But then like, what if they have an issue with alcohol? What if they don't drink at all?
Well,
what
that's
if they're
why you
like,
start.
wow, she came over with alcohol at 3:30 on a Monday. You don't want to like start the relationship like that, especially me. Like I'm not a drinker, and then I'd be labeled as a drinker.
The thing is that's why you lead with a bottle of wine with a bow, like
that I open and drink.
No, like she's
just
like,
a
oh,
gift.
should I open it?
Should I open it? Yeah. If you want, I wouldn't say no.
You don't lead with pills, like you don't, hey, here's some Xanax and here's some.
Truly, that's all I need. Yeah, I just want the Xanax every day. Yeah, I'd be like doing much better.
Yeah, like here, do you want shrooms? You want LSD? What do you want? What's your?
I don't have anything good like that. Or maybe some of the super futured gummies. Yeah. That'd be nice. Anyway, no, it was nice though. Like, I just think that I want to start doing some of that more, like setting up our living room. And when I meet mom friends, be like, y'all want to come over? Because like you want to hang out with adults, but you don't really want to, am I wrong on this? Is this how we all feel like as parents? Like we're tired. So what's better than like going and sitting on someone's chairs or couches and like they have a whole playroom set up with toys and you can watch your kid play? Like, I think it's kind of dreamy, honestly, because then you still get like to talk to other adults, but she had a nanny there too, so like the nanny's kind of like reading books to the kids. Like it was kind of nice.
Sounds like chit chatting.
It sounds like chit chatty.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to chit chat, and you're gonna like, so how's vacation? And like, I don't know.
What is wrong with you? Like, what chit chat? You used to go out every single night and just talk to like nobodies.
Deep
so like
conversation.
Deep conversation.
Yeah.
It's not true. And the only way to make deeper friendships is to start by chit-chatting. You got to scratch the surface with the chit-chatting. And then you have memories and then you know more about them. Like, yeah, it sucks. This is like dating. This is why dating fucking sucks, because it's like starting from scratch. And like, that's how I felt about you. You and I had to chit-chat. We had to chit-chat for weeks.
We didn't chit-chat.
We sure did. We chit-chatted. We chit-chatted our way to the bedroom.
But exactly. There was a goal, like that's a good price to chit chat.
Fine, you be a weirdo. I'm gonna chit chat my way to new mom friends. I'm gonna chit chat my way to the zoo next week. We're gonna go on Wednesday morning. She has a plan. This is life now, Francisco. This is our life, okay? And yeah, sometimes I don't like the moms I chit chat with. I don't feel like we have anything in common. But the only way to learn if it's gonna go deeper than that and we're gonna get to the next level is by surface chit chat.
Cool. I'm gonna let you do the chit chatting.
What are you gonna do? How are you gonna contribute to us making new friends? I think I'm gonna host a Halloween dinner party. I'm gonna host more public events for moms to get together so we can I can meet new mom friends. I need connection. You're not providing it.
I'm gonna start an app called Finder. Father Tinder. That's where you met father friends.
Finder? Well, it's really like that would be technically pronounced Finder.
Yeah, but it's my app. I call it the name fuck I want. Finder. For fathers to make new father friends.
There apparently, I did have that idea. Someone that worked at Bumble left and created like the mom version of this. I forget what it's called, but I don't
Mumble?
know how well it's. No, it's called something kind of strange, actually. Forget. Yeah, it has kind of a weird name that I didn't love, but it was kind of that vibe. But I think it's great. I mean, I think I know, and I hear feedback from so many women. It's the biggest struggle that I think all of us have is that's why we kind of connect with the TikToks and watching other moms go through the struggle, because you want connection so badly when you're a mom. Like, you have so much to say and so much to vent about and all of the things that we kind of have this platform to talk about. And moms, I guess more than dads, but like, we really want connection with other moms to know we're not crazy. I think our identity crisis is like, when you
Like a support group.
It is.
No, 100%, I think.
Or friends.
But I think it's like a friend support group, like, because when you encounter people that are going through the same struggles that you have, you can find support with that. Like,
I think you're just different because friends in general are support groups.
100%.
That's what a good friend should be.
Yeah.
So I think men, and maybe this is just you, like when we started dating, Francisco would say to me, he's my best friend. And I'm like, never met him. It's been 40 years. Cool. Like, everyone was your best friend. And I'm like, when's the last time you saw your best friend? You're like, oh, well, it's not, in a couple of years. And I was like, fuck off with best friend shit. Like, a best friend for me, yes, I do. Like, Becca's a really close friend of mine, I would say. And it sucks. I see her like once a year if I'm lucky. We text, but I don't have a lot of these really close female friendships, not for any reason other than time probably, or just they're in, like I've talked about, like some of my mom or my friends that were moms before me, they're just kind of in their own different level. And that's hard for me because I love some of my friends, but when you hit these different stages, everything's so different when you become a mom because you're drowning in it. You're drowning in all, you barely have time to like work, mom, have a partner. And so we just don't have as much time anymore, but we want it. You want to find the people that can like carve out, a day, a month even, or every other week to just like get coffee or
like
go on
my
a
best
walk.
friends.
All your best friends. When's the last time you hung out with your best friends?
All depends. Ask me names.
I mean, because in my recollection, it was your surprise birthday party I had for you.
What?
Do you remember? Or it was last November.
Yeah.
You recall?
Yeah. No, babe. Like, I have the things that I have had many lives, and I've left friends all around, and I have friends
You
that
hear how he talks? Like, I know we all have had many lives. We all have different chapters of life. Like,
so yes, I have best friends that I know I can call right now, or
you're
at
talking
4
about them like they're like
a.m.,
an old sweater you don't wear
and-
anymore.
and I know they will help me.
This is the difference. You don't have the need for connection, obviously, that I do. You don't seem. I get it.
I do.
I get it. You don't need to connect with the friends because you're saying like I could call them up in the middle of the night. Sure, I have a couple people like that, but that doesn't mean that I don't wish that I got to talk to them almost every day, or that, that level of connection that you used to have with a friend where you're just like sitting there with nothing to do, like having happy hour, not a care in the world, hanging out on the weekend. Like, that just doesn't happen anymore, And so I think you have to kind of find the women that are in the same stage of life as you. And yeah, that entails making new friends and chit-chatting because you don't know them very well yet.
Yeah.
We had good combo. We talked about stuff. See, this is why, though, I was going to try and pull off something for Fran for his 40. So Fran, am I allowed to say that, turns 40 this November.
You're right behind me.
Oof.
Don't get too cocky.
I know I am. I'm preparing for it emotionally. So when I get there, I'm all right. Yeah, I've never had an issue with a birthday, but 40 seems like, wow, what happened?
I'm excited of turning 40.
So I told Fran what I had in mind. Like, basically what I want to do is I wanted to get a group of friends to fly down to Mexico City. Different friends. Again, some chit-chatters, some deep. Like, to go to Mexico City. Like, some new friends, some old friends. Whoever wants to go to fly down to Mexico City and then I was going to set up some stuff for us to do. And I'm like glad I told him, but at the same time, I am rethinking it because he's like, it's not my party, right? It's his. So you can schedule the agenda however you want. But this was my idea, was what I was going to do is I was going to invite like a dozen. I was going to extend this invite to maybe a dozen people from that I know that are your friends here. And then obviously you have some friends and a bunch of family in Mexico City. So I was going to do something where I basically made like a really fun dinner plan somewhere one night and like took care of all of it and like had people surprise you. And then maybe do Xochimilco the next day, like get some boats so people could go out and see that experience. Because if you've never been to Mexico City, 20 minutes from downtown is the river with these colorful boats, and it's a fun thing for tourists to do, especially I think just because it's just you've never seen anything like it. It's like these colorful boats, nothing fancy. People like pull up cooking quesadillas, making micheladas in their boat, and you just kind of cruise these canals, and it's BYOB, very like affordable but very authentic experience. So anyway, that was my idea. And then what I was going to do is I was going to create this really cool itinerary for all the out of towners that were going to come in and be like, hey, do your own thing in Mexico City. If you like art, if you like shopping, if you like eating, these are different places to stay. These are, you could do the Frida house tour. You could do these different things and kind of give people this roadmap of like how to enjoy Mexico City and make all these recommendations. Because I feel that if people spend their money and time going out of town for a couple days, they don't want to be married to some agenda. So when I told Fran before I told him my plan, he was like, no, I want everyone together the whole time. We should rent a house together. Everyone should be together the whole weekend. I was like, okay, this is your 40th, so it may work for some. But I was like, like Danny has a brother that lives there. She may want to go spend time with him. I thought 2 activities.
Uninvited.
Don't care. 2 activities I thought would be awesome. And then if we want to connect and do breakfast and stuff with other people, that would be fun. So that was my idea, but clearly not cool. And so now I'm like, okay, it's up to you.
The whole thing is to like
we can't roll 20 people deep to every fucking thing we do in Mexico City.
Why not?
That's insane. That's annoying. That's so
we
difficult.
used to have
but it's your birthday,
so my last name is Rizzo, so we used to have something called the Rizada. So we invited every Rizzo from my family, of course, to Mexico, or like it was host in each city, like where people live, like Guadalajara, Querétaro, Mexico, blah, blah, blah. So we have this 50, 60 people event throughout a weekend. And we had bosses. Like we just went all everywhere. Like, so we have the logistics down for something like this.
Okay.
We know how to make it happen.
So that's what you want. You want buses.
I don't know yet.
Of our friends.
Yes.
Hopping around town.
Party buses.
What about Remy?
He's going to be partying with us.
Okay, it's your birthday. I just thought
It's almost going to be 2. Like he's ready to.
A smaller, more tasteful events and let people. That's the thing. I just know how I am. So that's why it's
We're going to call it spring break in November.
It's hard to plan a party when you personally are just different, like I did that surprise party for you because like I hate parties in general, but I also just think Mexico City is such a wonderful experience, but everyone's a little bit different with what they like to do. And so, if you're having people spend a bunch of money to fly and stay in a hotel for the weekend, it's cool sometimes. Like what if one of your guy friends brings a new girlfriend? Like let them go on a fucking dinner date. Like let them enjoy their weekend.
Use your own time for that.
All right. Well, we'll give y'all an update on how Fran's 40th party planning's going.
Yeah.
We could also just alternatively make it just the family, like a big family reunion.
Alternatively, we could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't paddle back. This boat's already full steam forward.
I don't want to stay in a house with 20 people, even people that I like. I have a baby. I need privacy.
Nannies.
Nannies?
Yeah, people that take care of the babies.
I know what nannies are. You mean my mom and your mom?
Partly, yeah.
Partly? Who else?
I don't know, babe. All depends how many other kids are coming.
None.
Okay. Well, I don't know, babe. I haven't seen the roster.
Oh, man. All right. So now don't tell someone your plans. Don't tell someone your surprise party plans. He's going to be, what's the version of Bridezilla for like a 40th birthday party dude? A dudezilla. Brozilla.
Baby, this is gonna be legendary.
Then your expectations are so high.
They're
Do you know
not
what I
high.
originally wanted to do? Because I just wanted to buy you a trip where you go motorcycle around like Argentina.
Okay, nobody's going to Mexico City.
Yeah. And then like Remy and I would meet you. Like I thought that would be so fun. Like get you a motorcycle trip with one of your friends.
do it.
I don't think I have the money for that. I don't know how much something like that costs.
We still have 6 months.
Save
Yeah.
for your 40th?
Yes.
Yeah. What about our child and his school, which is a whole nother thing, by the way, isn't
He's not
it?
turning 40.
What?
I said he's not turning 40.
I think I told Fran, I've really dropped the ball on the whole school scenario, and I feel like such a bad mom because of it. Like, and I got such a snarky email from one of the schools I emailed. I didn't email like, hey, do you have any room? I emailed like, hey, I'd love to come take a tour and get on the wait list. And it was just like, we are very full. I'm like, yikes. Like, what kind of response is that? Like, okay, like just as I said, a wait list. She's like, you can apply in October for the 24-25 school year. I'm like, okay. Like, why are people so weird? Why is this school thing so fucked up, y'all? Like, I thought people were kidding when they were like, the second you birth this baby, or in my case, is cut from your womb, you should be on your phone applying to all the schools because you have to have a birth date. So, like, you should have done it then. And it's like, what? Like, what in the world? I thought that was just this competitive private school kind of stuff that, and we have an in at a school. We just ultimately decided not to do it yet because it's a fortune and B, only 3 hours a day. And we wanted like a couple days a week. And some of the responses or non-responses I'm getting from the schools, like I just didn't realize that it's such like a thing. And then now talking to people, they're like, I waited a year. People are on wait lists for a year. So we're looking at like him not going anywhere until next year, and it's all my fault.
I'm starting to create a program. Like in the mornings, he's going to have PT.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. He's going to have what?
Physical, how do you call it?
Gym?
Gym. Yeah.
Oh, PE.
PE.
PT is like physical therapy. Yeah. Gym,
Yeah.
art. Oh, yeah. He's going to be on a full schedule for the fall.
It's going to be homeschool.
By you?
Yeah.
Where did your education end?
So it doesn't matter.
11th
It's
grade?
where
10th grade?
it's going to continue. We're both going to be homeschooled together.
You and him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
By
do
us. No.
it. By yourselves.
Yeah. We're going
Got
to
it.
homeschool each
Wonderful.
other.
Good. I'm glad you have this plan all prepared.
No, for sure. It's going to be a lot of field trips,
I posted on my social for those of you that live in the DFW area, mainly Dallas, just because that's what, where we were looking. I got a lot of really nice recommendations. I mean, good fucking luck. Like, just get on the wait list. But a lot of people will be like, thank you, I'm pregnant and I'm stressed. I'm like, good. You shouldn't be because you're pregnant and you're way ahead of me. But yeah, I guess that's something that I learned the hard way. I just wasn't thinking that we were going to send him to school before 3. And now I realize, wow, they grow up really quickly and he's ready. So we'll see, we'll see what we can make work. But yeah, please, I'm telling you, if you're pregnant or have a infant, like get on a list somewhere and start really thinking about school, which is just so crazy to have to do that. And I'm sorry that that's the case and it sucks.
Crazy. It's just when people tells you how much time flies.
Yeah.
Hard to grasp.
I guess you got to listen to him, right?
Hard to grasp. Like hard to understand until you see it.
Mm-hmm. Until it starts happening. I know. It's crazy. So, but mainly, if y'all have any recommendations for how you deal with the anxiety about parenting, especially those of you that listen that have like teenagers now, because I know a lot of you write me and you listen and you reminisce on baby times. Fran and I would love to hear it because I'm like, I look at my mom every day and I'm just, you appreciate your parents so much more. And my relationship with my mom is so great. It's always been great. Well, not when I was like in high school and college, but, as an adult, for the most part, my relationship with my mom's been wonderful. And it's just so nice, to hear stories about when I was a kid and the stuff it makes her have memories of. And it's just kind of created this different level of a relationship with her. And I love it. And I don't know. It's just so interesting. But I think about it all the time. Like, how did you let me drive? How, like I was her only kid. Like, how did you let me drive a car? Weren't you so scared? How do you even get to the point that these things happen? Like dropping a kid off at college, and it just has to be so overwhelming when you think about them like leaving the house.
Having your kid in college must be the most nerve-wracking thing.
Her and I actually talked about it yesterday.
I think nature. Well, I'm sorry.
No, I think time must give you more confidence, right? Like when your kid grows, it's like we're thinking about him right now going to college, but when you have years and years,
No, and I think nature is really smart because he gives you this kid that is the most amazing, wonderful thing. So you love him unconditionally.
right?
And then this little rascal becomes a teenage kid, and now you hate him a little bit. So that mixed together
Then they
gives
drive
you
you
the enough,
crazy and
like,
gross you
okay,
out.
get the
Yeah.
fuck out of.
No, I think you just have to hope that you raise a kid that makes good decisions and just trust that that's where the parenting part comes in, right? That these years are the work that you put in to hope
Maybe
that when
that's when I finish college also.
okay, you go together.
Yeah, we'll go together.
Fucking great. All right. I'll be on my second husband by then.
Or third, baby. We don't know.
Who knows what the future holds? All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye bye.